Hi everyone, welcome to the new video series. Today we are looking at how to use the template to revise for 3D shapes. Here we have the whiteboard template. It's two-sided, as well as some 3D shapes and my textbook. Okay, so here's the two pages from the textbook which can help us to recall some of the properties of three-dimension shapes. And of course in our textbook, there's a last page here that summarizes for us very nicely the properties of three-dimension shapes. Right, okay. Now, how to use this template? So here I have some 3D objects with me. Here they are, and the main purpose of this template is to help us to be able to recall and remember the properties of 3D shapes well. Starting off with being able to recognize the 3D shape, being able to spell it, name it, and describe it using the properties. Now there would have been several activities you have done, experiences you have done to help you to understand these shapes. So at this stage, it's really helping us to do a good recalling of these properties. Like for example, the cube here, it has 6 flat faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. Now, if you need, you can always go back to your book to revise on these facts, or you could fill the objects again, or do the tracing activity again to help you to identify these properties. Okay, then you have the cuboid, which interestingly has the same properties almost as the cube. So the key question here is, so how do you tell a cube apart from a cuboid? Okay. Next, you have the cone. The cone has 1 flat face, 1 vertex, 1 curved face. Cylinder here has 2 flat faces and 1 curved face. So make sure you practice well how to spell these words. And then the last one, the sphere, I have here with me a beautiful shiny marble that is the shape of a sphere. This is how it's spelled. It has only a curved face and no flat face. Now, so these are the properties that we need to remember of these 5 key 3D shapes at primary 2. Now, we can also practice drawing these shapes by tracing over the lines, and that helps us to identify the edges, some of the edges, but it's more of like understanding how drawing these 3D shapes is different from how I draw a 2D shape, like for example a square. So here I could trace these shapes on the plastic folder, the cone, and you can see that I'm drawing a curve here, which is different from how I would draw a triangle. I could draw a cylinder, and I can draw a sphere. Now interestingly, you can't really draw a sphere different from how a circle would be. Then you notice how it actually uses shadings, like in art, to represent the depth of the sphere. Okay, so the fun thing about this is it's a two-sided template. I can take this out Voila! And then I flip the paper to the other side, and there you go. It fits nicely onto the next page as well. Yep. Okay, now finally, I could use the bottom part here to make a pattern. Now, you will have learned patterns by now, and that's with reference to the page here in your textbook. You can make patterns with different shapes. We can identify the next shape in a pattern by looking at the group that repeats. We can make patterns with different shapes, different colors, different sizes, and different orientations. And you realize that these patterns can also be made with two-dimension shapes, which we have learned previously as well. Okay, so you can make your own pattern here. For example, if you like to use different shapes to make a pattern, for example, I can make a cone and a cylinder and a cube as part of a pattern, and I make this pattern here repeat. And I know a pattern is a pattern when it repeats about 3 times. Okay, oops, I don't have a space here for the third time. The third set to complete, but I'll just write it out of here. Okay, so this is how to use the template on 3D shapes. Thank you for watching.